What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Sowdev podcast. My name is Dev. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you. Make sure you go ahead and follow me on all social media platforms at Sowdev, on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else, including YouTube. If you're streaming on YouTube, make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe. Now today, it's a little heavy. It's a little heavy, and first of all, I want to start this off by saying, please make sure you're taking care of yourself. The little things: drink some water, eat some food. Make sure you're fed, hydrated. But also make sure that you're taking care of your mental health. Make sure you're doing things, even the little things, that make you feel good. Make sure you have a nice support group around you. Do you have people you can speak to? I mean, my DMs are always open. But, making sure that you have a nice support group to where you can turn to and speak to. And when that gets too heavy, do you have a professional that you can speak to? Maybe you may have the resources. Online they have professionals that you can still reach out to and that you can speak to without it costing you an arm and a leg. Some people don't have insurance, they can't see a therapist or whatever the case may be. Some people don't believe that it works. But please make sure you're taking care of yourself. The second that I heard that Liam Payne had passed away, I didn't believe it. I actually thought it was a lie. I was like, oh, well, come online and, say it's a lie. I'm waiting for him to tweet something for somebody to say that it's a lie, because I'm on Twitter and I'm seeing that somebody had potentially jumped off a roof. And a lot of times, when things like that happen, it tends to be a lie and somebody making a sick joke, and maybe the sick joke picks up. And then the celebrity is like, I'm not really dead. But he was. And honestly, I was in disbelief for several hours. I loved 1D. One Direction, I loved it. I was a Fifth Harmony girl down through and through. But groups are my thing. I loved One Direction. Little Mix, Fifth Harmony, that was my trifecta, baby. But hearing that he passed away, it was kind of bone chilling to me. And I think it hit hard, especially for somebody, and I know a lot of people who did stay in those three groups, who knew that those were the big three of the 2010s, who grew up with them and, watched their fan bases grow, watched them go on tours, listen to all of their albums, the midnight releases, and, all of that. Like, I know people who were a part of that era directly, just like me, felt that. And here's the thing. Times like this, it shows you how sick social media is. It really did. And it really does. Somebody lost their son, their father, their friend. And all you can do is all you can do is, at this point, because of the time that we're in, you go on social media and you see what's going on. That's all we seem to really be able to do these days when tragedy happens. We go on and see how other people feeling, what other people saying, what other people are thinking. And oh my goodness, have I noticed even more so at this time that is just such a horrible idea. Because I get on social media and I see people running away with fabricated things, is what I'll say. It's no secret that Liam had demons. But a lot of the things that people are wanting to bring up right now in the midst of his death is sickening and disheartening, actually. It has bothered me a bit to see some of the things. I've had to just not look at social media because of it. And like I said, we all knew that he had his demons, whatever the case may have been. We know that he wasn't a perfect person. We know that he didn't always make the best decisions, but I could name you a billion people who are alive right now who haven't, who don't even get half of that energy. You get the whole, well, he was an abuser, blah, 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 blah. And mind you, people don't actually know the story. They know what they've been told, right? They don't know the context to the stories. They don't care to. We're in a time where, you make a mistake and that defines you for the rest of your life. Your mistakes will define you for the rest of your life in the public eye on social media. And it doesn't excuse the people that they may have hurt along the way. It doesn't, because whether that person's here or not, those people still have those feelings, those experiences, and they have to still deal with that. That's very real, and we do have to acknowledge that. But what I do find interesting is that a massive crowd of people who weren't nice to him, who weren't kind, who bullied him, who went out of their way, people who were on social media saying, take away somebody else's pain and triple it times 10 to Liam Payne. And then he ends up dead. So you have a massive amount of people who are on social media just going and being bullies, throwing out all these jokes and just beating down on the man because he went to his friend's concert, his group mate's concert. People are beating down on him, having viral things, blah blah blah. Thinking, I don't know. Do they think that these celebrities don't see them? There's no consequence to what they're saying, and that's not saying, oh, well, this was the direct cause of what happened. Like, no, I'm sure it's not black and white. I'm sure it's several things that went on. But we're not going to act like that didn't help, because it didn't help at all. I'm sure of that. But you have those same people now who want to say, well, he was abuser. He was blah, 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 blah. You have people wanting to put any excuse that they can out there to make themselves feel better about bullying somebody for weeks and them now being dead. They want to make themselves feel better. They want to make themselves not look bad. They want to give you a reason to hate this person. Let this person rest in peace. Let this person rest in love. He has a 7-year-old child. Respect his memory. If for nothing else, for that child. People don't think about that stuff. He's not somebody who was beating this lady down. He's not somebody who was so abusive. Like, when you say the word abuser, right? You think of the worst possible scenarios. You do. And the reality of it was, wow, some of the behaviors, yeah, we can admit that those would be seen as abusive. It's the way that people are going about it, not necessarily what they're saying. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And they're making him seem like he was the worst person in the world. And that's just not true. I've never been the biggest fan of him as a solo artist, but I have streamed a couple of his songs. I still have him on my playlist. He has made some bops. So, y'all, I hope that this is a lesson for a lot of people on social media, because they make it such a habit of beating down on people to the point where these people don't want to be alive anymore. But it's also another thing at the same time. It's like people on social media, they're so comfortable with wishing death on people and wishing pain for people they just simply don't like, not for people who, I don't know, it wasn't like somebody just went out and killed somebody, but that's how they'll treat them. And if something happens to them, like, whoa, it's actually such a sad time. And I think that his death is felt way more than people will admit. Again, I hope that this is a lesson for social media. I mean, all I personally can think about is his child. All I can think about is the One Direction boys. I mean, their grieves are gonna come entirely different. You know, Niall, he just saw him. Harry probably hasn't seen him in a minute. Him and Zayn didn't have a chance to say everything that they wanted and needed to say to each other. Louis, they probably talked from time to time. Each of those boys have a different area of grieving, but they also have a common ground of grieving. And while, no, I did not want the first time that the One Direction boys be together in a reunion was for a funeral. That was the last thing I expected, or anybody. And I think that with all of this going on, all it has done is made me think about Little Mix and Fifth Harmony. You know, Little Mix, go fix things with Jesse. I don't give a fuck. Life's too short. I don't give a fuck. Go make things right. Even if you aren't speaking to each other every day, even if you aren't the best of friends, do not let that be how you end things. Fifth Harmony girls, reunion time. I don't give a fuck about a picture. I don't care if you show it off for social media. Get together, have conversations, hug each other. Don't let that be the last time that you speak to one another. Say what you need to say to people. Tell people you love them. You don't know how much time you have. It's crazy. And you know, I remember watching some videos. There was some videos earlier this year, and some people had said that, you know, Liam had looked how he did before. You know, when he was using. Because for a while, he looked very, very clean to me. But, you know, once somebody said that, I started to notice it a bit. And because there's this glossy look in a person's eye when it comes to celebrities who are constantly putting on that smile despite the pain that is behind it. And you can see that in his eyes. You can see it in the last couple of videos over the last couple of days of his life even. You see the glossiness in his eyes. You see, despite his pain, he's taken moments with people who love him. You know, people who have gotten tattoos, or matching tattoos of him, or like I said, tattoos actually of him in One Direction, because they helped save their lives. You know what I mean? You know, these people, they know that he means so much to them. And I think that it was just awesome to see the last couple of videos being him really recognizing them. But it's also this beautiful chaos because time and time and again we see celebrities who are in the public eye and they're just like, none of those fans probably knew how bad things were for him. Although I'm sure some people had an idea, right? Because it's no secret that he had demons. There's no secret he struggled with drugs and alcohol. But it's so sad that we just keep losing people to these substances. I mean, people are struggling. There needs to be a serious look at the industry and the fan culture. Genuinely, there does. And this takes me back a bit to, One Direction, Fifth Harmony, Little Mix, all coming from X Factor. I remember Ally Brooke talking in her book how she had to have somebody help her put the bottle down. I'm hearing the leaked videos of Lauren being so distraught, saying that they're working them like literal slaves and they're seeing nothing. It's just those experiences that they've all had that sent a lot of them into these dark eras, and some of them didn't come out of it, some of them did. This industry really does eat people alive, and it doesn't watch out for them. There's no way on earth, honestly, no. You need to have a therapist in this industry. You do. It's scary. Anywho, I mean, that's really all I have to say. I'm not on here to speak a whole hour about it, but maybe for us to just sit down, have a conversation, and process it together, because how crazy is it? I still can't believe it in the moment of speaking on it. I don't think it has felt real to me yet. I'm still kind of processing it. He meant a lot to a lot of people. And I don't think that I realized how much Liam Payne meant to me as an artist, as a creative, because I did respect him as an artist. I don't think I kept up with him personally, but I kind of sort of did as an artist. I think I did all the One Direction boys, to be honest. I wasn't actively searching a fan page for it, but when there was a new song coming out, I was definitely making sure I was listening to that. If they had any sort of projects, I was viewing it, so wow. How crazy is it? But moments like this, you have to process those feelings. Grieving is a lot. You may not have known this person personally, but still, you'll still be grieving, and that's okay. Don't let anybody make you feel crazy for it. Because we see celebrities pass all the time. I mean, I remember even from Angus Cloud to Mac Miller, I mean, the powerful impact of that. Crazy. But that is life. It's unfortunate that that's life, but death is a part of life, and technically we are all dying. Well, technically, from the moment you're born, you grow and grow and grow until you get to that point. But man, is 31 way too soon for it. I felt like he had so much life left to live. I felt like, the One Direction boys were going to come together and have the moment. And, when I want to see these groups get together, it's never because, I want something out of it. I think I just enjoy seeing them together in the moment because they have such a strong bond with each other that, I don't know, it like creates ripple effects. I don't know how to explain that shit, bitch. but it's true. Oh, man. Well, that's really all I have to say for today. I do appreciate you guys tuning into this podcast. And what a real one it was, right? Now, I do want to reiterate myself. Please make sure you drink some water, eat some good food, take care of yourself. Do something that makes you feel good. Do something that also scares you. Feel good and also live. Tell somebody you love them. Literally anybody. If you hear this now, just text them. Be like, I love you. Life's too short. Alright, y'all? I appreciate you. Thank you for listening to the That's So Deaf podcast, where you stay true and you stay you. Make sure you go ahead and follow me on all social media platforms at That's So Dev on Twitter, Instagram, and literally everywhere else. Alright, y'all? I appreciate you. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you on the next podcast. Peace.